Okay, this will be an interesting one. Ah, fuck off. Stupid. There. 200%. We're just going to stick it at that for now. Oops, too rough, sorry. I don't normally get rough with the equipment. Sometimes I do press the button a little bit. Yeah, again, sorry. It's not what I do. It's not what I'm into. I'm not... Just because I get angry at the manufacturer or the people behind the manufacturing doesn't mean I take it out on the fucking equipment. It's not what I normally do. It's not what I do. It's not what I'm interested in. I do want to destroy the photocopier industry. Not all of it, but most of it, because they only care about money. So this is what we're photocopying, this paid part here. So yeah, the photocopier industry has a lot to answer for, and I don't have any kind of respect for the industry as we know it. It's all about money. It's all about greed. You know, they don't care about the people who are starving. They don't care about... They talk about being environmentally friendly, but I don't see people not updating, replacing their photocopier every 3 years. I don't call that sustainable. So Konica Minolta have a lot... company here that made this machine have got a lot to answer for. They just care about money, and it shows. And you just can't... You just can't basically hide it. You know, these bitches in the fucking photocopier industry are a bunch of twats. They're fucking idiots. They've got no idea. Now, I'm wondering how big we're going to make this. So the industry's got a lot to answer for. They don't care about the environment, really. It's all greenwash. They just want to sell more equipment, and that's it, to make money. I mean, where does all the materials come from? It has to be recycled to be considered sustainable, not fucking virgin materials like you normally get in a mine. So I'm not happy with the way the industry is playing. They are fucking idiots. They're fucking so stupid. They got no idea. But we still have to fucking buy their product, so we have equipment to use. You know, you can't pluck it out of thin air just because the industry's failed us. But the industry's just full of shit. What can I say? I just get so annoyed with the industry. There's nothing I can currently do except call out bullshit on some of the things that they do. And speaking of which, we now have to replenish toner, so we're going to have to reset the machine up again to make this copy. We're going to have to remember what our settings are. But it's time. So we're just going to get our toner cartridge out, which we have prepared. I've just opened it, taken the invoice slip off it. So this is our toner cartridge. If you're not familiar, folks, I'm just going to put the phone down and shake it. So we're just going to shake this silly toner cartridge. These things don't last as long as the old machine that I had. Much less time. I really hate this fucking design of this. This is to show you how bad the design is. It's just too much fucking plastic. You can actually feel it. It's just not a nice feeling. You don't get that lovely metallic feeling, which is what I long to feel in a photocopier. Is to have a metallic sort of sound, not a clack sound of plastic. So we're just changing the magenta toner, folks, if you're not familiar with this shit. So this has got to go in here in the slot like so. Oh, I just got a bit of dust on my fingers. And we just got to somehow click it into place. And you can see, sometimes I struggle a bit trying to put the fucking cartridge in. And it's just not acceptable. This time it wasn't as bad. But now we're going to have to set this silly thing up again. You know, when you open and close the front cover to delay the toner change, the settings come back to normal on the screen. But when you actually change a toner cartridge, all the features are back to standard, back to default. So now I'm going to have to set this silly thing up again because that's how they've made it. So over it, folks. I'm so over the way the industry is. I'm going to try and just remember, we're going to make it a bit bigger. Going to make it, I think, 300. It's 300 and... But the industry's full of shit. You know, they just care about their money and that's all they care about. They don't care about you or me or the poor people. Everything's about money and it shows. I don't like this fucking plastic that they use. I don't like the way they've got so much fucking plastic. It should be more metal. Metal's better than plastic, it lasts. But that's not what the company wants. The company wants things to break so that you have to pay for servicing. And if it's really bad, when the machine can't be serviced because spare parts are no longer available, the machine is up for replacement, and that's too expensive. But I had to replace my old C353. And its toner cartridges were better than this shit. It lasted. So I'm not happy with this company. Fucking Konica Minolta. Dickheads. Fuck sticks. Assholes. Whatever names I can put to their fucking reputation. Now that looks interesting, but we still got some of that red stuff there. We've got to move it up a bit. It looks interesting. But basically the industry's full of shit. You know, they're full of bullshit. You know, I just don't have any respect anymore for the industry as it is. So I just moved it across a bit. So I've got to basically talk about this industry as my enemy. I have no respect for the status quo of this dumbass company or companies. All photocopier companies are shit. They can't even put new features on their bloody equipment anymore. They just have the same old shit. They just tinker around the fucking edges, expecting a new colour of the control panel or the new colour of the user interface. That's all I can manage is a fucking colour change of the user interface. Really, I have no fucking respect for these dumb people. These idiots. Oh, I have to enlarge that more. I'm so over this fucking industry. But, you know, I'll still use their shit as long as I have to. So I'm not happy with the way they play. Because one day I'll be building copiers and they'll be a lot better than this shit. Believe you me. But that's in the future. I have to deal with the here and now, and this is what I've got. So, I try to dream of the future, folks, of a future where the technology has been severely improved, seriously improved, instead of the foolishness that we have in today's industry. Wondering we're going to make this a bit smaller on the. Wondering how big we're going to make it. What we're going to do with this 250. I think we could make it. I don't think 200 is going to work. But the industry is just full of shit, you know. They just care about the money. And you don't feel that there's a lot of pride in the workmanship. You get the feeling that the people who work in the workshops building these equipments don't even know what the fuck they're doing. You sort of get the idea that, we just made this too small. We're meant to do it on the vertical, not the horizontal. Shit. So X is meant to be 250 on the X. We're just going to keep it 250 on the X, and on the vertical is where we have to make it a bit smaller. So we're going to make it 340. But basically the whole industry is just full of assholes. Smart people, you get the feeling the smart people who want to redesign this equipment have been discriminated against and denied access to employment. If there was more smart people working in R&D, we would have a much better product. Mark my words. But no, they don't. They're not allowed. So you get the feeling that the people that can make a difference are being discriminated out of the company. They're not allowed to make a difference, however much they know it would help. You know, we don't want this machinery that lasts only 5 years for spare parts. It's got to last 60 years, folks. We have a very finite amount of resources in the ground, and we don't want to blow more CO2 in the air refining things like metals and shit and glass. We want a system that's been derived from recycled materials, not virgin materials, and most e-waste does not get recycled. So where is the photocopier industry taking the materials from? Recycles or virgin? In other words, from the mine. Where are they getting their fucking materials from? They never tell us. They never fucking tell us. They're too fucking busy thinking about their money. They can go fuck themselves. Showa Yamana of Konica Minolta is a real fucking idiot. He can go screw himself. He can go fuck his money, stick a fucking toner cartridge up your fucking ass, you bitch. That's where the fucking thing belongs. Your fucking shitty technology belongs up your fucking asshole, bitch. So fuck off, Konica. Fuck off, Showa Yamana. Bitches, sluts, money fuckers. I have no respect for you, and I am not afraid of you, bitch. So fuck off. Take my fucking advice and go leave the fucking company and hire someone who fucking cares. But no, you wouldn't know the first thing about care, you stupid bitch. Stupid Showa Yamana, CEO of Konica Minolta, based in Tokyo. So there we have it. That looks nice. I think now we can call this rant over.